It's been a long time I've done such a video like this one. Um, I used to do that at the point I stopped because of how ungrateful and unappreciative human beings can be. You know, spending my time, uh, blowing my energy, uh, using all my knowledge, giving them out for free, spending money on data, making videos, responding to people's queries, questions on Peugeot cars, and only for them to go out and start telling the world, oh, how wicked you are for not responding or not doing anything for them for free. You know, most times you'll be the people that were complaining of making those claims were actually those who at some point has requested for a favor from me and I did them those favors or something similar like this one, only for them to probably request for another favor. And you say, no, this time around, no, I choose not to do it because of this and that, or for some reasons. And then all of a sudden, all the goods you've done for them is cancelled. As far as you're concerned, you are the Satan they've always known or read in the Bible. You've never done any good thing. Every other one you've done is never happened. Anyway, so I've been receiving a lot of questions even ever since I made it publicly that I'm not going to do this anymore. People should seek for these things elsewhere, or these questions or queries or help elsewhere. But it kept popping up daily. I receive them in 20, 30s, even on phone calls, and they refuse to go away. I thought there are a lot of messiahs out there that are devoting their time. You guys have no idea how much I spend on data doing these videos, responding to some of these things. Anyway, I decided this morning probably I could just respond to one or two and then see how it goes. Anyway, here it goes. So this one came in, when was it? I think yesterday or so. So he said, Lion King, good morning. Please, I chatted you privately for some queries. Please, I'm in a choice of dilemma of choosing between um, Z8 V6 and Z8 EW12, both manual transmissions. Um, for those who don't understand what he meant by Z8 V6 and or EW12 Z8, what he's trying to say is Peugeot 607 phase 1 with V6 engine ES9J4S, that's the engine model, with five-speed manual transmission, and Peugeot 607 again with 2.2-liter petrol engine with the model name EW12J4, also with five-speed manual transmission. So that's what he is trying to say here, which is the right acronym for those cars, or more like code for these two for the car anyway, the Z8, that's phase 607 phase 1. So he said he's choosing between, serving confusion, choosing between the two. From what you've said, yeah, I could see somebody that likes, you know, performance or power for you to prefer manual. So if that is the case, then I'll tell you just go and get V6. Yes, get the Z8 V6 manual. Trust me, you can it does not, you can't even compare it with the EW12. However, the EW12 makes sense. I've driven it quite a number of them on manual and also driven the automatic one. The automatic one to me is awful. It's not. So I'm not saying in terms of maintenance or no. I'm talking in terms of performance. Don't even go there. It's just a car that somebody that wants to, just enjoy the luxury of 607, but not necessarily enjoy the performance of the car. So if you want to enjoy performance of 607, you have the option of manual Z. That's the manual EW12 J4 or the manual ES9J4, that's the V6 one, period. I'm talking of Z8 now. So, yes, the V6 is what I would recommend based on my own personal experience, based on my own test of vehicles, or based on my own test of these two cars. All right. Most times I could tell people, okay, get EW10, EW12 manual, because some people are really, really scared of V6. They have all these horrible stories in their head. They've gathered from online or from a lot of people how horrible V6 are in terms of fuel consumption and that. So it make more sense rather than pushing the person, or telling him when that fear is there, to go and get for a V6, and you end up most times realize that whenever a small issue pops up on V6, they will go back to that same fear they had earlier. In other words, throughout their ownership, they are looking out for those issues, those fears that are still there because it hasn't gone. So any small thing they will refer to, oh, they made a terrible mistake because they were warned before time. So in that case, at no point, let them go for the EW12 because you can also enjoy it. It's fun, yes, you can enjoy it, very fun. It's quickie, but of course not as quickie as the V6 one, but yeah, it's and of course the thing is with the EW12 is you get a point as you're pushing the car, it becomes noisy. There's nothing wrong with that noise anyway, but then when the noise doesn't really commensurate, is that the right word? Whatever, commensurate with the I would say the power or the movement of the vehicle, then it tends to lose. The V6 one, very quiet. Don't even hear any noise. No matter how quick or fast you are pushing it, it doesn't. See, even if you are pushing up to 200 kilometers per hour, it still remains quiet. So the EW12 is noisier. If you are doing that kind of 200 kilometers per hour for EW12, wow, the entire vehicle, you will feel that noise coming from the engine bay. You know, the engine, it's not necessarily the gearbox that makes that noise, the engine. Why the V6, both the gearbox and the engine, very quiet, you know. Even when you are pushing it on gear 4, well, see, the good thing about that V6, that's why I always tell you, for people who enjoy driving or like fun cars, this particular V6 is, for example, on 607, or any Peugeot that has it with manual gearbox, you'll surprise the gear 3. The gear 3 can actually get to 155 kilometers per hour, to tell you how fun that car is. So by the time you shift it to gear 4 will get you to 200 kilometers per hour, 205 or thereabout. If you now want to go beyond that, you can now shift it to gear 5. See, you can understand that's the how. So imagine when the car is pushing gear 4 at 200 kilometers per hour, yet no noise. That's where I'm coming from. So it tells you that the car is as if the engine doesn't even stress itself, even with that high RPM at that vehicle speed. It's a very fun car. It's a car that when you drive, if you take it for a fun drive, which you do, you'll be inspired. Let me use that word. Inspired to do every once in a while. Whenever you do that fun drive, you come back. Honestly, throughout that day, you'll be happy. Throughout that evening, because of the way the car engine performs. Now, let's talk about other performance packages between the two models of the 607, depending on the engine. That's the V6 and the E12. The EW12 has a standard what's it called, suspension. That's standard shock absorbers. Let me limit it to that, be specific. It has a standard shock absorber similar to that of 406, while the V6 one has a variable suspension, that's variable shock absorbers. So the V6 one is a performance one, while the one with EW12J4 is just a standard one. It's okay, but then when you're high speed, or you're negotiating bend, or you're high speed and you turn the steering, trying to overtake a car very quickly, or there's a way you will see the difference. The V6 one, they call it variable suspension. That's the name, variable suspension. The lower the vehicle speed, the softer the suspension. The higher the vehicle speed, the firmer, the harder it becomes. It just becomes very strong. It kind of makes it as if it drops the car a little bit lower and makes, so that the car stays very solid on the road. It won't be, you hardly feel any bouncing on the car when you're on high speed. Unlike what's it called, the four-cylinder one, that EW12, of course, it tends to bounce because it's a soft suspension. While this one becomes very hard. So even if you push it to 250 kilometers per hour, the car stays very, very, it looks like you are driving a drum. You feel so safe that you feel like the car will never, turn over. I'm not saying it will not happen, but to tell you how safe it feels, it's not begging you to push the car harder. So that's why I'm saying the V6 is performance package for speed, while the EW12 is not. Likewise, there's something we also call variable steering. The V6 one has that. The variable steering means the lower the vehicle speed, the softer you can turn the steering wheel with your two fingers. I've done videos on that, probably you guys have seen it. Turn your fingers, the steering wheel with two fingers. Let's assume the car is stationary. No effort. You do as if you are just, turning this thing without putting any effort on the steering wheel. But once the vehicle speed gets to like 60 kilometers per hour, it starts becoming harder to turn. At higher speed, maybe 100 kilometers per hour, it becomes very heavy. You look as if you are the steering that has become manual steering. You remember the days, for those who have driven 504, 505 with manual steering, that's what it looked like. Very strong to turn. The reason that they did it is to make it sporty. So the car now, because a sporty steering is very heavy, so that the car doesn't swerve easily, or it becomes less sensitive on very high speed. If it's very soft, and you're very high speed, you feel very unsafe to swap the car. Not necessarily swap, to turn the car on high speed, turn the steering to avoid an object, or stuff like that. So it makes the car safer to speed with. That's what I mean. Why the 607 with EW12J4 steering wheel is just the normal one, standard one. Doesn't have that. It's soft both when it's stationary. Not necessarily soft like the V6. You still put some effort to turn it, but it's power steering. But it's not as soft as the V6 when it's stationary. So it's soft to some extent. However, it also maintains same softness when you're high speed. So when you are driving it, you will really feel, especially once you start gaining that very high speed, like 180, 190 kilometers per hour, you realize that you now have to put more effort to be able to keep the car stable, or not to mess up with the steering, so that you don't find yourself in the wood or in the forest, or where you don't want to. So you see, so that's why I'm saying when it comes to performance, no, V6 has it. There are so many things. I don't know if there's another thing I'm forgetting when it comes to these two cars. These two models, two different, or same one car with different engines. In terms of maintenance costs, of course, V6 will cost you more if you are to replace the shock absorber. The V6 shock absorber, because of the variable nature of this shock absorber, they are more expensive to replace. I always recommend replace with new one. Forget second hand. It depends on you, but new one will last you longer. That kind of variable suspension is not good to go and get second hand one. Buy a new one that will last you for years, depending on usage. Second hand probably is already on its way out. You buy it with you start looking again. But it's actually very durable. They hardly fail like that. Especially that variable one, because it actually match the vehicle and all that. That I mean match the vehicle, I mean match the engine weight and everything. So what else? In terms of the steering, variable steering is very durable. In fact, to be honest, V6 steering complete system. That's a complete system of V6, not just the rack, the pump. They are more durable than that of four cylinder. Yes, I'll tell you that. Most especially the V6 pump is more like indestructible. Ask any V6 user, he tell you probably has never changed that his power steering pump. Likewise, some EW12J4 user. However, the EW12J4 for pump is similar or even identical. I forgot it, like that like that of the EW10J4 and EW7J4. So they fell. They are not. I'm not saying they are not durable, but they are not as durable as V6. I mean, I do repairs for people, so I know how many times I've changed it for people in their EW engines, but the V6 never. Yeah, maybe I think there was once that guy, the oil, forgotten, so it was leaking or something, so it dried off. It drove it without oil for a very long distance. So even by the time we fixed the leakage, it was already noisy, so we had to change the pump, you know. But on normal circumstances, the VC pump. So in other words, the VC steering will serve you. Once there is no leakage, even the leakage doesn't really happen that much. Like the steering rack hardly leaks for VCs unless you go and start mixing it with different oil for that's ATF. If you maintain the recommended one, you have no problem. That is the most in terms of if you are comparing the two, Z8 E12 and Z8 V6, the steering of V6, which is even more complex, is more durable than that of E12, especially the pump. Especially the pump, that's the power steering pump. Fuel consumption, this is where I always tell people get the V6. The V6 fuel consumption and that of the EW12 are similar. Yes, V6 consumes just a little bit more than the E12, but like I say, it's so similar that you couldn't even notice the difference. So you can as well just go for the power. What's the point? Go for that more power. But of course, the harder you push, when the VC start going very high, of course, it will start consuming more. But likewise, EW12, if you push it very high, it will also consume more. But fuel consumption is actually subjective. Some people, I don't know. So some people from here, I mean, if VCs can take you 10 liters or 12 liters will take you, okay, let's just say maximum of 15 liters may take you with that VC 607 manual from Abuja to Kaduna, which is about 250 kilometers. So some people, that's too much. So then you're supposed to consume only 2 liters or 1 liter, you know. So to me, why would I complain? How much is 15 liters? Is it 2,000? What something? I don't even know. I know 10 liters about 1,500 naira or so, a little bit above. So if 2,000 naira is too much to spend in fuel the car for 200 kilometers, come on, then look for another car. So that's where I'm coming from. It's like why EW12 consume just a little. So fuel consumption shouldn't even be a point to compare the two because they all consume similar. Like I said, similar, just a little bit difference. So that shouldn't be a point of time. Other than that, you know. So if you want E12, fine, there's nothing wrong with that. It's quickie, it's fun to drive to, but there's one that is more packaged for performance, more packaged for fun. That's the V6 one, the manual one. I hope this helps. And if you can, get a Tokumbo, fully used direct that have not been abused, and get hold on. So get what's it called? Get an expert or a Peugeot specialist involved to inspect the car. Don't go and buy, even if it's Tokumbo. Some cars are being abused. Some cars, it may be Tokumbo. Trust me, guys, there are some Tokumbo cars, or few, I would say one or two Tokumbo cars that originally had maybe diesel engine and they were converted to petrol engine, probably over there or in Nigeria, but it wasn't properly done. So in anger, they now sell it off. So you don't go because it's Tokumbo car, everything is loose knit, you just go and pay money to realize that there are a lot of mess you have to deal with. So get somebody, an expert involved to check out the car. Of course, checking the car doesn't mean you won't come across issues. But let it be just the normal wearable issues. There are always wear and tears, no matter what, as long as it's a used car. But let it be just minor ones, So there you do. Speaking of wearable items, for the V6, the timing belt, that's the advantage of it. It will last you close to 10 years. While the four cylinder can last you about 4 years 60,000 kilometers. So the V6 will last you longer. The only disadvantage of the V6 is you won't get a complete timing belt kit here in Nigeria. You can only get the timing belt, while that of the EW10J4, you can get the complete in Nigeria. So for V6, what we do is we buy the original timing belt. Then when we remove the old one, we check the rollers. V6 has 3 rollers. 3 timing rollers and 1 tensioner. So if any of them is weak or showing sign of weakness, you look for a second-hand one that is still better or good, then you change it before you put the new belt. Another advantage of the V6 roller, timing roller, is when it starts failing, it becomes noisy. So it's so pronounced. It's not something you say, you haven't suddenly. No, you will know. Their timing rollers are so strong or built to last so long that it won't just all of a sudden fail without giving you warning. You will know once the engine starts running, you will be hearing noise going on from that chamber. You know that the belt, one of the rollers is weak. So you can, even when the timing belt is not due, you can always remove the old one, the timing belt, change the faulty roller, put back your new belt. This is very hardly cut. It will be very hard. Let me put it in a different way. I've never, ever come across a Peugeot 607 with ES9J4S or ES9A user that had a timing belt failure. Never. That's caught because no. However, it doesn't mean you should take it for granted. But what I'm saying is because the engine hardly suffers, that it doesn't go too much stress like the 4-cylinder one. So the belt can last so long. However, I always replace it, recommended time intervals, 8 years, or is it 120,000 kilo, 190,000 kilometers or so. You are done. Likewise, auxiliary belt, change it, don't waste time. The thing is, the EW12J4, the complete timing belt kit, complete auxiliary belt kit, they are available. So however, they fail more than that of the V6 when you ignore the change interval, or when you ignore a sign that one of maybe the roller or the belt is weak, and then it damage your valves. So what usually happens for the V6 user, if your auxiliary belt is weak or one of the rollers there, auxiliary belt roller is weak, if the belt now cuts, it may go into your timing chamber and then the valves will jump, and then you have to now either replace engine or you repair it. All right, so I hope this helps. So just like I said, for now I'll be taking some of these questions whenever I can, hopefully. So if you have any question, any query concerning Peugeot car, please, I'll try to put my WhatsApp chat number on all my videos, so you can send only WhatsApp. Don't be calling, please. If you want to call, then you have to subscribe for my consultancy service. You have to pay for it, so we can be talking, or I can give that private attention to you on your Peugeot cars. Then if you want a free advice like this, or yes, send the question. Just prepare your questions like this guy did. Send it to this WhatsApp number I'm going to call out. I also post. That is +234 80 957 21703. Again, +234 80 957 21703. So I will still post it. Just send it to this WhatsApp number. Only chat. You can send it to Telegram as well, but don't call, please. So if I reject your call or don't give you that attention, you don't start feeling that I'm becoming a wicked again. It doesn't really matter if you call me wicked, but it's going to happen. I only attend to clients, people that subscribe for my service, or such, maybe on calls or all that. If you want free this, send it. Whenever I have the time, I'll do this video, post it, and then you go there and watch and learn from it. Okay, that's all for this one.